Where did comedy start for you?
In the womb? No, I'm joking.
Coochie comedy.
Hey, what's happening, man? We back. Solar Comedy episode number 6. It's your man L, and tonight we get to kick it with my homegirl Correy Bell. She got a whole weekend at the legendary Zanies here in Chicago, man. Over 25 years of the funny. Tonight we are lit. Roll with me.
3, 2, 1, and...
No, don't say it yet. You gotta wait till I say it in my head. And then I tell you when to say action, and then you say action. And you don't tell me, I tell you. Solo Comedy episode 6. Okay, got it. Boom. I am assuming,
Okay.
that it started in the beginning.
In the beginning.
Yeah. Don't you say it. Don't you?
Yeah.
Because I know where you go. I need.
It was the funny.
Yeah,
and
it
the
was.
funny was the beginning.
Was the beginning. Yeah, like as long as I can remember. Probably before I could walk.
Really?
Yeah. That's the only reason that I even made comedy a profession. Is because I got tired of people saying, "You missed your calling. You should have been on stage. You missed your call." I did not want to be a comedian. I wanted to be a flight attendant.
Okay.
I wanted to put on a little uniform with them little coffee stockings and that little thing around my neck and pull my little bag. That's what I wanted to be.
That's a fun job.
And I wanted to be Debbie Allen.
So you want to dance?
Yeah, I was going to dance down the aisle. I was going to dance first, and then I was going to be a flight attendant.
I was going to hold this part until later, but
What?
I heard that you was a runway model coach.
True. Facts. That's true. I grew up on the runway because my mother was a designer. She was a fashion designer, and she was a runway model coach.
Word.
She was one of the bigger names for plus-size models in Chicago, and one of the dopest seamstresses I knew. And so that's how I grew up. And it was something that I loved to do, and then I just took off like RuPaul's Drag Race, dog.
Oh, hilarious.
But I still do it. That's why when you see me on stage.
That was one of your students right there. She the one told me. Take your mask off.
Wow! Wow! Oh, well, if that's the case, then I know she has told you some things.
She was just like, man, we was in shock. She was like, she started walking. We was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Because back then, they knew big Correy.
Right.
They knew 300-pound Correy.
Right.
So it was like, and here I come, stilettos, with all of this weight on my knees. And that one over there, it was like, oh my God, she looks like a baby doll. Let me see you walk. And she would walk, and the other girls would walk, and I'm like, yeah, y'all walking, but you're not really walking. And then I made them really walk. I made them do some things. I made them walk like their favorite animal. I wonder if she remembers that. But it was like, be comfortable. Like, people are so afraid to just be who they are because they portray things on TV and they see that that's what they have to model after. And it's like, no, walk like you, dog. Be who you are. And that's what I did. I had shoulders like Peter Griffin and a bottom half like Becky from the Trailer Park. I was shaped funny. But yeah, that was one of the things. I could have definitely have been a model, a plus size model, because that's what I love to do. I could have been. You can be anything.
You can be anything.
You can be anything.
Anything. Children's. Let me tell y'all something. Donald Trump was president, and we all know folks wasn't that smart.
I need you to understand, because you're trying to act like you've never done what Donald Trump did.
Who, me?
We all have. You ever applied for a job that you knew good and hell well you were not qualified for, and you put everything on the resume, and they messed around and called you for an interview, and you was like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
That same thing he did.
Yeah.
He didn't really think he was going to get it.
The
but
nigga wife was in shock. She was like, I was just trying to go shopping in
I
America.
was just trying to go home. That's what she kept saying.
She thought she was going home.
She thought she was going home.
So you went from modeling coach.
I done went to everything. I've been Chuck E. Cheese.
No, you haven't.
I would, for $5.25 an hour, I was Chuck E. Cheese.
Get the fuck out of here.
For about 3 weeks.
I've never met nobody who ever was.
That was me.
You
that
was in the rat
dog.
suit?
That was me. I was Chuck E. Cheese. That was my first job.
What?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, 95th and Pulaski.
Oh.
That was me.
They had you over there.
Yeah, because I used to live right off 95th. I take one bus straight there. And let me tell you something. That's a terrible job. Not because the job is terrible, but adults are terrible. Not the kids. Adults are terrible people.
What did they do to you?
Characters. Oh, one guy hit the head, cut the bridge of my nose wide open. Cut it. Like, he kept hitting the head. Now, I got on gloves, like, so I can't really do anything. And then somebody else figured out that I was a girl. Because I had bookers. He started undressing them, unhooked the little hooks, but I can't, I got hands on, it was, I quit. I was like, this is not okay.
What made you finally say, yo, this is what I want to do?
When I got fired from my job. I got fired. I ain't really have anything else that I could do. It was like, all right. They were like, all right. I'll never forget. It was December 1st. December 1st, and I got fired for being late. And I worked from home. Now, you tell me. People laugh about that all the time, but I'm serious. Like, if I had to be at work at 9 o'clock, I wouldn't get out my bed to 8:57 and try to run downstairs, wait for the computer to load up, or struggling, didn't pay the internet bill. Now I got to get on the phone with Comcast. Now I got to call in to the job and be like, I'm going to be late logging in because I'm having an issue with connection. Yeah, ain't no connection, nigga. It's dead. You have none. And then my husband looked at me and said, take 6 months. That was his sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Because now he said, I got everything. Take 6 months. If in 6 months it works, keep going. But if in 6 months it don't work, then but you work. You're going back to work. And he did. And he never made me feel bad when I would go to shows and come back with less money than I walked out the door with. Because I would go do a show and I wouldn't get paid. Like, he never made me feel bad about that. He would never make me feel bad about, having to be out so many. Because, in Chicago it's different. It's if you out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And if they don't see you, you know what I'm saying? You can be funny as you want to, but everybody in Chicago is funny. Yeah. Everybody funny. So you got to be visible too. You miss out on a lot of stuff. So for 6 months, putting that grind in, and before I knew it, it just took off. But that's a part of the gift. When you're operating in your gift, it comes really easy. When you're operating your gift, it comes the way that it's supposed to. Within my first year of comedy, I was chosen to be flown to LA to do True TV, to do laugh tracks.
Yeah. And
you have people going, well, who she know and how she do that? Like, what? It's like, it's the funny, dog.
It's the funny.
It's the gift.
As you mentioned earlier, they remember Big Correy.
Yeah, man.
So tell me about that, being that size and still moving how you moved in life.
Well, I mean, that was the easy part. Okay. That was the easy part, because when you're a big girl, but you still kind of cute, people still kind of rock with you. You know what I'm saying? And if you're funny, then that is your security blanket. Because it's like, you can't say anything to me to hurt me, because I'm already saying, like, what are you going to say to me that'll be worse than what I'm saying? Okay. You know what I'm saying? So you can't jab me by calling me fat or calling me this or calling me, because I'm already, we've already talked about that. Try it again. Mm-hmm. So that was more of a security blanket than anything. Especially when it came to like the stage. That made comedy easy because I talked about what I knew. You know what I'm saying? And the scary part was losing 100 pounds and then and trying to figure out, did I lose my funny when I lost my fat?
I ain't never heard anybody put it that way.
Because it's like, if most of my jokes are centered around, being big and being this and being that, well, now I'm none of that anymore. So what do I talk about? And that's the test to see, do you really have the gift? Because if you really got the gift, the fat is not what made you funny. You made the fat funny. You don't really get funny until you start telling your story on stage.
Right.
Because once you start talking about it on stage, then you can free yourself from it. And then when you tell your story first, then can't nobody else tell it for you. That'd be my only thing. Like when I blow up, you know, like when y'all go to TMZ, don't leak my fat pictures. Do not leak my fat pictures. Like, don't do that. Like if you found some fat nudes of me, don't put them out.
Fat nudes?
Yeah, like if you found them, don't put, like seriously, don't put my fat nudes out. The skinny ones, don't leak my fat nudes. Like you would be a terrible person to do that.
Why
but
are
for some
skinny nudes, fam?
Because when you fat for a long time, you'd have missed 20 years of full body selfies.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is when you fat, you take them from the chest up. That's and everything else you put the purse in front of.
No, Willie, don't put the fat dudes out. Cause
No, he ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna lick it, but he will kill the people who do.
Being a woman in comedy, which is male dominated, how has that affected your thought process being out here in the world as a woman in this male dominated field?
It depends. For me, it was a little easier because like now, most of the time, my shows, especially in Chicago, my husband's there. You know, so people know that he exists. You know, a lot of times you see comics and you finally see like the comedy Christmas party. Somebody be like, dang, you got a girlfriend? You married?
Right.
Like we've never even heard that now. Who knew? It's a very, very big name comic in Chicago that one day I was like, how long y'all been married? 20 years?
Yeah.
I've never seen this person.
We not gonna say his name.
How you know it's a him? You're dumb. Anyway, I was like, who? Wow. And now I'll say it backwards. Wow.
Yeah.
But I mean, being a black female comic,
Talk about
you know, you have to be funnier than the guys. You got to be louder than the guys because it's a boys club. Even though comedy is not gender specific, it's still a boys club.
Very much a boys club.
And you don't have a lot of women in comedy, and even less that are funny and fearless. When you're the only female on the show, and most of the flyers, you're gonna be the only female. You'll never see a flyer with 3 girls and 2 guys. Right. Show me one that don't say something like "Ladies Night Out" hosted by. Why? I've never seen a men's night out flyer, ever.
Very interesting.
I've never seen a men's night out flyer. I've never heard them say, "All right, let's hear comedy from a male's point of view." Never heard it.
Because it's already comedy from a male's point of view.
All comedy is from a male's point of view until they bring up a female. Now you're gonna get it from a female's point of view. I didn't know it was gender specific, but as a one, I got to be louder. I got to be funnier. I got to do twice as much work. I got to stay late. I got to come home. I got to come early. I got to look better, but you can't dress too sexy because then they don't listen to your jokes, which I've proven to be a crock of shit. I test that theory every time I get on stage. Every time I get on stage, you'll always see me dressed like I'm on my way to the Las Vegas Strip or something.
Hey, Correy be just like a superhero.
Every time. I'm a ballerina tonight. I'm a ballerina Power Ranger. Yes, I am. In Las Vegas, I convinced Monique after 30 years of comedy to stand on stage and tell jokes in a bathing suit. We told jokes in swimsuits.
I saw that.
Because funny is funny. Funny is funny. It don't matter where you are. It don't matter what you're wearing. We did pajamas. We did pajama night. She told jokes in pajamas. We did a superhero night. We had capes on. Capes and super suits and all. Because we have to test the theory that if you're funny, it doesn't matter. It don't matter where you are. I did comedy at a funeral before. They asked me to be the speaker at one of my friends' mothers passed away, and they did a memorial service. Why they asked me to do it? I don't know what they wanted me to do.
And then they knew I was gonna
and they
come with funny.
Put me up right after somebody sang. Why would you do that? Right after our auntie. Because funny is funny. So for me, it was not so much that I was a female, but because I was new, that I didn't get a lot of stage time. So then I turned around, took my ball, created So What Sundays, and had the hottest weekly show for 3 years.
Who was the first person that told you was funny?
My sisters. My sisters told me I was funny.
Okay.
And so many times, so
How old
much
were
so,
y'all?
I was a baby. I don't remember her saying it when I was younger, but I remember her saying it once I got older, and her always saying, she's been this funny since she was born. And I told her, she's always said, I tell her all the time, you know, she missed her call and she should be on stage. She missed her call and she should be on stage. Both of them. They always said it. And I got sick of hearing it because I never thought that I was funny.
Really?
No. I think I just say things that people think. And they want to say them, but they won't say them. And so I fucking say them.
With your set being pretty much the same set every time,
It's never the same set.
So do you kind of have like a base that you go off of and then go off of that, or?
Normally I pull it from the crowd.
Okay.
I have to, so that's one of the reasons why I never like to get to a show where the show is already going on, because a lot of times I need to see the crowd. I need to hear what other comics are making the crowd do. Like, I need to be able to get that energy. So it depends on the crowd which way I'm gonna go. And a lot of my jokes are birthed right on stage. A lot of it is done right on stage. So I've never done the same set twice. I don't know how, because I don't write it down. I literally build it on stage, show after show after show after show. Like that whole Selena bit, I created that in the first show. I had never, and the only reason why I brought it up was because somebody thought that I said Texas. And they were like, yeah, I'm from Texas. And I was like, I never said anything. I said, take this. And from there, I was like, but I love Texas. And I asked her from what part. And she said she was Mexican. And she was like, they think it's part of Mexico, but it's not. And when I think of Mexico, I always think of Selena. And so I kicked that off from there, and then I just brought it over to the second show. And now by the time I get to the fourth show tomorrow night, it'll be its own bit. I'll have been created somebody from Texas who was a fan of Selena. Like it'll evolve into a whole thing. And so that's how most of those jokes go. Unless it's some shit like this that just really happens in life. It's just the way that it happens. But that was the hard part about doing True TV first season, because they recorded our auditions, and that's how they picked us. So when I got to LA, they gave me a set of headphones and the script, because they were like, we need you to do this joke exactly how you did it. And I'm like, nobody, because they've already done the recreation of it. Yeah. So I have to say it just like I said it then. Nobody's ever been able to do that. You cannot say every word the exact same way, because that's not how your brain thinks as a comedian. So that was really, really hard for me, and I was happy by the time season 2 came, they changed it and they did it the opposite way. But yeah, no two sets are the same. They may be sisters, but they're never twins, ever.
Where does this strength of, man, y'all not fucking with me, where does that come from?
You got to be used to, you have had to have been used to losing. If you've ever lost before and have had to come back from losing, if you've ever lost anything and all you had, are you going ahead? Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't want to.
No, go ahead.
I got something. My bad.
It's you.
What did I tell you? You said yes.
No, he gave him the green light. He gave him the green light. It's okay. No, yeah.
Clear.
Hilarious.
I don't want to mess up. I know it's Black History Month. I don't want to mess up.
You know what?
Yo.
That's mine. Yeah.
Oh man.
Where the fearlessness comes from is if you've ever lost. If you've ever lost anything, if you've ever lost at anything, and fearless is the only thing that you've ever had, and you've come back from losing, you'll realize that it didn't kill you, so it's not so bad. And when I realized that the nice part of me wasn't getting the stage time, the nice part of me wasn't getting recognized, the polite part wasn't getting what I needed, I had to come in fearless, because if I don't make you believe it, if I don't believe it, I definitely can't convince you
Right.
that that's what it is. I had to be fearless before I got funny. Because in Chicago, you do comedy in a lot of places that don't want comedy. So I had to go into the bars. I had to go into the clubs. I had to go where they are watching the game or doing birthday parties.
We call it gladiator school.
Yeah. It's where you get your stripes.
Yeah.
You know, it's where Chicago is where you build your character. You don't get famous in Chicago. This is where you build your chops. This is where you build that fearlessness. So I had to go on stage and make that. I have to go up behind people, you know, like Wildcat. You got to go up behind people like Lil Rel. You got to go up behind people like Damn Fool or Just Niche. And you're a nobody. You're a fucking nobody. So they're already not paying attention to you. And the only people that will make it hard for you is people that come to a comedy show and they didn't pay a damn dollar. And they want you to pull a rabbit out of your hat. So now I got to get your attention. I got to get you to listen to me. And then I got to get you to trust me. Then I can be funny.
Then I could, right.
So you can't just come out the gate being funny, because if you get them to trust you, you can take them anywhere. A lot of times people are funny, but they don't get the audience. They don't build that trust with the audience. So the audience don't really follow their jokes. And I've had them nights where I just came out guns a-blazing and I didn't give the audience what they deserved. And it
wasn't no foreplay.
I came right out like and it was not good. It wasn't good.
Doesn't work.
And the audience was like, and I did them like on Waiting to Exhale. So what you think? And the audience was like, about what? I was a teenage mother. Nigga, I ain't had no choice. They made Brenda had a baby. I was like, I can now do that, bitch. Hold my beer. I got this. She only did one. I had 2 babies by the time I was 18. I got this.
God.
Fearless was all I knew.
How did your family respond to that?
What, to having 2 babies before? Oh, well, you know, one of my youngest daughter, I had her on Christmas Day.
Okay.
And nobody in my family knew I was pregnant. I was working for Nike Town at the time. I'll never forget. And we had to wear these big soccer uniforms to work. So I would go to school, I would go to high school, and then I would go straight to work. I come in, go to my room with my baby, you know, because now she's 1, and I back out the door again. So a lot of times they never really saw me. So when it was time for me to go to the hospital, it was Christmas Day. I'll never forget. And I had to think fast. I'm like, how am I going to get them to get me to the hospital? I was like, I think I have food poisoning. My mother was like, food poisoning?
Fam.
Got in the car, rushed me right to Little Company of Mary. And 45 minutes, like labor, 45 minutes. 10 pounds, 13 ounces, 22 inches of food poisoning.
We saw you tweet Monique.
Right.
We saw it. You reached out to Monique. Now let me ask you, was that before she got blackballed, or?
No, she was already 8 years in.
Okay.
She was already, or 8 years out, I should say, of Hollywood.
There was that. Oh, it had been that long?
Yeah. She's 12 years blackballed as of 2021. This will be the 12th year that she's been kicked out of Hollywood.
Flies so fast. So you hit her in the middle of the blackballing and said, I love you.
Yeah.
I look up to you and I want to work with you.
I didn't even really say all of that. I basically told my friends on Instagram, because she was coming to Chicago, to tag her and tell her to let me open up for her. And she saw it and responded. And was like, okay, meet me at the Chicago Improv. let's play. That was the conversation. Now, she didn't say when. She didn't say, did she put my name down? She didn't say what time to be there. She didn't say when you get there, you go through this door, do none of that. So it was basically like, figure it all out.
And you did.
Well, yeah, because I saw that episode of Martin when he went to the Varnell Hill show, and Varnell had promised him them 3 minutes, remember?
Yeah.
And I was like, if I got to go out on stage like KC, JoJo, if I got to do that, then I'm getting the stage. Yeah, you're not going to promise me and think I'm not going to show up. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm on it.
And we literally have been thick as thieves ever since. But it was like 2 years before that I was at a concert, a Jill Scott concert.
Okay.
And the power went out at the Horseshoe Casino. Jill had sang her first song, and then boom, you heard that the whole power went out of the entire casino. We sat there for about 45 minutes. Then they called the show. On the way out, it was a picture of Monique on the wall. And I was like, I want to take a picture under this picture. So I took a picture under the picture, pointing to the picture. And I said, one day my picture will be right next to her picture. And then we went to Vegas, and there was a guy that showed up who had pencil sketched a picture of both of us, and brought him to the show and gave him to us. And now they're both on my wall, next to each other.
Boy, that's that manifesting.
Hey, you got to say it till you see it.
Exactly.
You got to say it till you see
If you don't
it.
say it out of your mouth and believe it in your heart, it won't ever happen. But when you start,
you got to do the work too, though. You can't just say it.
Right.
You got to work on it until it happens, so that when it actually happens, that you're prepared for it. If I'd have just sat on it and said it, I could have really, when I went up that first time, ruined my chances because I wouldn't have been ready.
It comes with a cost.
Sacrifice.
You have to do it.
And it's better than sacrificing is better than struggling. You want to do one or the other. Do you want to say you want to sacrifice, or you want to struggle? Because sacrificing means it's going to be some nights where I'm going to come in late, or I'm going to have to leave out early, or I'm going to miss an event with my kids.
Right.
But struggling is you don't even see the way.
Right.
You don't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big difference, and I'd rather sacrifice and struggle any day. It was a point where I was literally flying. I would fly out on Thursday. I would come home on Sunday. I would take a nap, and then I would go out and do comedy. And then I would do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then fly out on Thursday. And then one day he was like, no. And I was mad at him for saying no. I'm like, why? You know this, like this my job. I don't tell you, you can't go to work.
Right.
And he was like, no. Because now you're obsessed with it. It's an obsession. You're addicted to being on stage. Because it's like a drug. Those laughs, the laugh. Oh. Or even the silence, because now that's the challenge. Like, how dare you not laugh? Oh, okay, that's what we doing?
The audacity. All right.
So at one point he was like, no. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your voice. You have to, no. And after a while, I had to learn. When he says no, it's always from a place of love and concern. You know.
Man, shout out to Willie, man.
Yeah, I'm not partners with a hater. I'm not partners with nobody. My partner is not in competition with me.
Talk that talk.
We a team.
Yeah.
Period. No big eyes, no little U's.
Yeah.
And when I'm working and he's with me, I literally don't have to think about anything but telling jokes. I don't have to worry about eating. I don't have to worry about security. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to wear because he dresses me from head to toe. I got off the plane and this was laid out on the bed with 3 different shoes. Pick which one you want. It's just that when I need him, he's everything that I need.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to think about doing anything but being creative.
A little support go a long way. Like, if y'all heard her, we gonna rewind it and play it again. She said her partner's not a hater. He's not in competition with her.
No,
Like,
he's not jealous.
oh my God.
And you have to understand, when you're operating in your gifts, sometimes your partner has to come second fiddle to your first love. And a lot of times my first love, depending on what's going on in that season, is comedy.
Yeah.
And so he has to play second to that. And he understands that he's more of the supporting role instead of the lead role. You know, so when you have that kind of understanding, a lot of people, their relationships fail because they're battling their spouse is trying to always be right in front, when sometimes it's like, I just need you to be right here. You're in a better position for me if you're holding me up from behind instead of just standing in front of me all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to learn when to play your position. Sometimes it blows my mind that people really pay me to do this. I'm like, dog, y'all gonna give me money to do some things that I would do anyway, like I would do for free. I would do it for free, you know. So I see some of these checks and be like, start the car, hurry up,
hurry up, for they put too many zeros in this box.
Dog, start the car.
So okay, let's talk about that. When the money, when you start seeing actual checks that meant something. Not the little money, you know, that you was getting from me.
Brought up in your hand like this.
You're right.
And take the little $20. Yeah, appreciate you. And you get out to the car and be like, this nigga here, is this $7? Oh, I hate him.
He did buy the wings, though.
Right.
When you first started seeing checks that were respectable, how did that feel?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest. Every dollar that I've ever gotten was respectable.
Okay.
Because again, it all ties in together. You know what I'm saying? Every time that I stood up on that stage and somebody paid me for my gift, whether it was $1 or whether it was a check, that I was like, if I take this to the bank, they gonna probably call somebody. You know,
Right.
I remember when I got my first check from Laugh Tracks, I took a picture of it. I was so proud. Like, if I ever lose this, I need to take a picture of it. Yeah, so I took a picture of it, and you know, I was like, and it really wasn't the money that made me want to, you know, keep going. When I got to LA, because I went by myself, and we were getting ready to record Laugh Tracks, and I had never been on a set before, so I didn't understand how things worked. So when I got there, it was some guy yelling, talent is here, and she's gonna need this, and she needs that, and I'm like, okay, I'm with it. Well, it was morning, so they were like, if you're hungry, go upstairs to craft services. And I'm like, well, bitch, I don't want no cheese. That's not what I do. Like, I don't know what craft is, you know. But I'll go up there, like, why are they serving that this early? I thought it was like a cheese tray, like craft services was a cheese tray. I didn't know. I don't know. And here's what's funny. I know that my husband is cringing right now. It's like, I can't believe this bitch is I know he's cringing. But he's dated a girl that ate garnish off a plate at dinner one time, so we're not gonna talk about that.
Oh no! Yeah. Please don't bring up your husband's retarded exes.
Yeah, this is a long time ago. But anyway, I went upstairs to craft services, and I was by myself. I didn't know anybody, and so they were had all of the stuff up there and the fruit, and they had apples and oranges and everything and bananas, and I was like, dang. I really wish they had some peaches. Now, I'm talking to myself. There was a guy standing behind me, and I heard him yell, talent wants peaches, and I watched him do something else, and he took off down the street. And he came back 5 minutes later from the Trader Joe's that was across the street with a bag of peaches. And it was that feeling that I can say what I want, without talking to anybody, I can speak it, and then it happens. Oh yeah, this moment for life. I tried it again too. I was like, dang, I can't believe I ain't got $10,000 laying around here. Didn't nobody bring it, but I didn't say it. I said it with greed.
So let me ask you this: was that your rock star moment?
Yes.
Or was your rock star moment watching yourself on TV for the first time?
Oh, I didn't want to see it. Because you're your worst critic. You know, you critique yourself the hardest. So it wasn't really the TV. It was being in that moment. Because it wasn't like, oh, your kids seeing you on TV, your family. My kids don't give a damn about. I'm on Windy City Live often. My kids won't even remember to set the DVR. Like, they don't even care. They could care less. I ain't even my kid's favorite comedian. What? It's some TikToker that I don't even know. Like, Are you out your mind? Do you know who I am? Sometimes I ask them, do you know who I am? Yeah, you don't know. And people be, oh, I'm so happy to meet you. They don't care.
So let me ask you this. We talked about being a wife in the marriage. We ain't talk too much about the kids. Being a mom.
Fuck them. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to talk about those kids.
Fuck them kids.
What about them? I just told you I'm not even their favorite comic. They don't get much airtime on here. What do you want me to say about them?
Yeah.
What?
You're right. Regrets. Do you have any?
Nope. I don't have any regrets. I believe everything that I've done up until this point got me to be exactly where I am. Everything. I wouldn't redo anything because the outcome would be different, and I don't know if it would be a better outcome or a worse outcome. And that's why, again, people always say, hey, when you make it big, are you afraid of what may come out or what might end up on TMZ or what? I don't give a damn about any of that because I've lost before. I've lost. I've been told no before. Ain't that bad? I didn't die. The only thing, like I said, is don't leak my fat nudes. Leak the small ones. Don't do that. I mean, but even if they do, it's like, so what? Because eventually it'll be my turn. It'll be my turn to win. It'll be my turn for exposure, whatever that may be. So my job right now is just to be prepared. And from this moment on, to make sure that I'm living a life to where when they start telling this story, that I won't be ashamed of it. Now, if it's something that I've done that I didn't know about or didn't know, like if it was done prematurely or I was young and didn't, that's different. But now I have to make sure that I know that everything that I say, everything that I do, the things that even with my children and people that surround me, you're a reflection of me. And eventually I'll have to answer for that. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't have any regrets. I don't have any regrets. None.
What would you want your legacy to be?
She had the baddest motherfucking show. No, I'm joking. But I do. Please understand
you don't fuck around.
that I have not. Yeah. No, my shoes is in my leg. But no, my legacy will be that I was just as amazing off stage as I am on stage. I want to make sure that, the talent and the gift on stage is one thing, but how was I off stage? Was I a kind person? Was I, a nice person? Was I understanding? Was I somebody that was helpful? Because we all want to talk about how we were the greatest comedian, the greatest entertainer. Yeah, but if you were a dick off stage, who cares? Who cares? My legacy should be that I was an amazing mother, that I was an amazing wife, that I was somebody that was charitable, that was giving. Like, that's what I want people to know about me, that whenever I walked into the room, that people were happy to see me, that I made sure that I gave what I had. I didn't try to hold it to myself. That's what I want people to know about me. Yeah, the funny and the gift is all great, but what else? Yeah. What happened because that's only 10 minutes to an hour of my life. What about the other 23 hours? Who was I those other 23 hours? Who am I when those cameras go off and when ain't nobody looking? You know what I'm saying? That's what's important to me. Was I a fair bitch? Mm-hmm. Was I fair? I always want to make sure that I'm fair and that I'm understanding. That's what I want people to know about me. That is my legacy. I think that the biggest shock that I had is watching my friend, my sister, go through this issue with Hollywood and with Netflix and with people that she called friend, and watch them publicly turn their back on her and then watch how she handled it. I think that was shocking to me. Because I'm like, she'll say, these are people that put their feet under my table. These are people that know me.
Right.
But for the sake of the money or the machine, publicly they won't stand with me. And it was like, when you roll with one of the most controversial women in the entertainment business, it teaches you that the things that you go through, are minute, are minuscule compared to what you're watching her go through. Watching her go through that shows me that I can probably, when it comes to this entertainment business, that I can pretty much overcome anything because I'm watching her do it. So for that, I'm grateful.
Corey, I'm again forever grateful for our relationship. You know what I'm saying? Me, you, your family, your husband. You know what I'm saying? Grateful to have you on this show because you've been very busy, and to be able to catch you just for this little quick moment of time has been amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. You gonna give me my $40. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I want my $40. You can try to be all wrap it up, sentimental. We're wrapping it up. He owed me $40. And I want it. I want all of it, okay? I put my good girdle on. I pulled my wig down. I didn't do none of the stuff that I was supposed to do. But I'm going to get my $40. It ain't $40, 40 acres and a mule, but I want my $40. Understand that. And on that note, peace out.
What you think about tonight's show?
It was different. It was you know, you got people that pay to come to comedy shows, but they don't really come to listen to the show. They kind of
They want
to have a party. Sometimes you just gotta let them know what the fuck they actually paid for. Is what you gonna get, whether you want it or not. Either they like it or they leave. This time they liked it, so.
So we had to come back for a second show. Correy is killing Zanies all this weekend. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows tonight, Saturday, and one show
tomorrow.
On tomorrow on Sunday. All of them sold out.